Hey there, and welcome to the Weeb Lounge. This is episode 9 of The Day I Became a God, and lo and behold, one of my predictions actually came true. Well, before I go get into that prediction or whatever, we need to get to this episode as a whole because, yeah, things go down and we actually figure out why, too. All right, this episode opens up basically just looking over a balcony. You have the whole troupe there still filming that movie that Sora was working on. But who's looking over that balcony? It's the hacker guy and his assistant. They found Hina. Ooh, what's going to go down? They're going to turn around and walk the other way. Yeah, apparently they really didn't need to do anything. They found her. Now they need to research and figure out why she is so important. So old hacker guy decides to go back and do a whole bunch more research, Hiroto. And it kind of goes flashing back to his childhood, okay? Apparently this kid, my God, even when he was really, really young, he was a super genius hacker. Apparently his parents were no good SOBs and decided to use his abilities to hack into computers, transfer money, do all this criminal kind of activity, right? And Hiroto, it seems like he was just like happy to help. He was being a good kid, helping, doing whatever. Until I guess he started growing a conscience or whatever, and then his parents beat the living hell out of him, and yeah, that kind of had a traumatic little bit there. It also turns out apparently his parents were like murdered in the most goriest, bloodiest, crazy battle ever, and he lost it. Absolutely lost it. I'm guessing he wasn't there from the context of the show and everything, but when he shows up, there's blood splattered everywhere. It's kind of gory, and he flips out. He is thankful they're gone. Absolutely thankful that they're gone. And just mad look on his eyes, everything. And the CEO lady that he's kind of sort of being forced to work for right now is like, yeah, this is bad. This is kind of sad. You really wanted your parents dead like that. Well, when your parents treat you that way, it's kind of hard not to feel that way. That's bad. That's bad. Parents beat the crap out of him, abused him, used his abilities for evil. I mean, come on. Jeez. Don't be looking down on the kid because he's a little happier now, even though he's got the crazy look on his face. Like, yeah. All right, well, goes into a little bit of backstory for him. And his goal is to try to find what the heck is Hina hiding. Or what is Dr. Kurogi, or Grandpa, tried to hide with Hina. They're trying to find the connection. So he goes into like this virtual deep dive and literally dives. Okay, like swimming dive. He platform dives. Everything is like pixelated computer. I think they were kind of sort of trying to do a little bit of a Matrix thing, and the dive was taken to a literal sense. But everything's computerized, and he finds a goldfish and a whale. Yeah. Okay, well, it's all like allegory, I guess. It's just trying to... it's almost like they can't really say what he was going for, so it's all just allegory and artsy-fartsy, I guess is a better way to put it. So, essentially, he just needs to come in contact with this goldfish or whatever. This goldfish is some kind of defensive code. It's a representation of malicious code or protective code, something like that. And the whale is the big picture thing, the whole thing, I guess. Well, he has a little bit of trouble doing this. It's fine, but eventually, he swims fast enough to touch the goldfish, which that just sounds stupid. It sounds... The way they did it was kind of okay, kind of neat. But why a goldfish? I don't know. Well, he touches the goldfish, and what this does is basically it downloads a little bit of information that he needs to determine what is exactly going on. He figures it out. He tells the CEO he gets punched in the gut and stepped on. Apparently this kid's asking for it or something. I don't know. All the CEO and all the adults in the room or whatever are treating this kid like garbage, and you wonder why he's like kind of mad all the time and doesn't like authority and everything. Well, if you stop punching him, treat him with respect, maybe he'll be a better kid. Just saying, that route. Okay, well, this is where my little prediction, one of a few that I had, comes true. It turns out that Hina does indeed have a computer in her head. She's got a big old chip in there, and what the chip is doing is helping her survive through that syndrome. It's, helping her basically recalculate her body, I guess, so that she can function as a normal human being. But, as I also suspected, it gives her access basically to the World Wide Web and all this information and such, and also a vast amount of computing power. It's like, okay, I got all this right, but I didn't know just how right I was. Now, that's a big deal. Being able to implant a chip into someone's brain and essentially cure them from some kind of mental disease, okay? That would mean you could cure people from paralysis. That means a lot of genetic disorders you could kind of compute around. The genetic disorders would still be there, but as long as the chip is in place, better, right? Here's the thing. In order to accomplish this, a new kind of chip had to be developed. Dr. Kurogi came up with some crazy science here, okay? What he ended up doing is creating the very first chip-sized, room temperature, more or less, quantum computer. Okay, if anybody knows current science or whatever right now, quantum computers is like in its infancy right now. They are trying to stabilize it. They are trying to get it down, or whatever. Right now, a quantum computer takes up a huge, massive room, takes a lot of coolant and superconductors and all this kind of crazy stuff. It's not viable for any kind of personal use, and it is not even viable for business use or corporate use or scientific use or anything right now. It's really, really in its infancy. They have one. It works, kind of, sort of, maybe a little bit, don't know. It's one of those things where, like, if you view, I'm trying to remember the quantum computer thing. It's like, if you witness or observe the results, you actually end up hindering the results. You by observing the results, you change the results. So the quantum computer results cannot be viewed until after it makes the final. It's confusing. It really is. It's quantum science, all that stuff. But it essentially what it is it has the potential to take computing to the next level. If our fastest CPU is on this plane right here, quantum computing is up in space. That's the difference. It's night and day. So this is a huge leap in technology for mankind, all right? The CEO has to make a decision. She actually has to report it, and other people are going to make a decision. This technology is so far past what humanity has right now that basically every single corporation, political, whatever that they were talking to and stuff, voted that, this technology needs to be sealed. It needs to be kept away until humanity can rise up a little bit further and be able to handle this technology. Think of it this way. They're looking at it as if it was some groundbreaking, crazy alien technology. Aliens that have 1 million years more advancement on us crash land on Earth and says, here's our technology, and then we collapse because we don't know how to use this crap. That's what they're looking at this quantum computer as, as very much disrupting to humanity in general, okay? So, yeah, they all basically say, hey, we got to keep it secret. We got to, get rid of Hina. That kind of sucks. Now, Hacker Boy was kind of put into a little room to cool off because, he was blowing up at the CEO and everything, right? And when they threw him in this little storage room or whatever, he tried to contact Hina through the network and be like, hey, they coming for you. Here's a warning for you. And Hina kind of accepts her fate. This is what she knew. This is the end of the world that she knew. This is the one that she was predicting. It wasn't the end of the entire world. It was the end of her quote-unquote world. And yeah, a whole bunch of corporate thugs and secret people and all this stuff just kind of show up like seconds after she gets the warning and to be hauled off. But Hina is kind of She knows her fate. She knows, even with the quantum computer going crazy in her head and all these calculations she can do, predictive abilities, all this stuff, she knows that she can't reach past their reach. You know, their reach around the world is so incredibly massive that there's no point in hiding. You're going to get caught. It's only a matter of time, and it ain't going to be much time at all. So she resigns to her fate. But in the process of this, Yoda and Hina go running off. Yoda is trying to protect her. Everyone's trying to protect Hina. They're trying to hold him off. And some feels kind of come into play. Yoda and Hina both admit that they love each other, which we knew it was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen. Okay. But literally seconds after they finally, you know, can kind of admit this thing, they get torn apart. That's where this episode ends. So, what the heck to expect from the next one? Okay, there's Chobits. I keep thinking Chobits. Now, if anybody knows the classic anime, classic manga called Chobits, where it was basically a robot that developed human emotions and so on and so forth. You know, basically became human, kinda. And I'm almost thinking this is almost kind of like a reverse situation or whatever. Hina was on the verge of death, about to just go. The quantum computer inside of her brought her back to life. So in all reality, it's like it's not a computer learning to be human. It's a human almost trying to learn how to become a computer while retaining her humanity. Is that the way it's going? I don't know. But the thing is, the corporation, this is my next little prediction. The corporation ain't going to be able to contain her. It's a quantum computer, okay? If it wants to take its information, it's connected to the net. If it wants to take its information, dump it onto the net, or even transfer her conscious, it might be able to do this. Transfer her conscious from one thing to another. Granted, you don't have Hina's body anymore, but now it's stored out in cyberspace. Maybe that's how they get around it. Got a few more episodes. We'll figure it out. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button. I probably talked too damn much. The whole quantum computer thing, I was, keeping an eye on quantum computers. Quantum computers are the next big thing. I want, the next gazillion core CPU. Wonder if I need to water cool it. Probably do. Oh, God. We'll see you in the next video.